Hey guys, Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina with another live stream show. Hopefully everybody's having a good night tonight, and hopefully everybody's excited for the show. Got a good one lined up for you guys tonight. Gonna get started in just a minute. I honestly am way off track. Weather is got me all sorts of turned around tonight. Definitely a little sidetracked today, to say the least. Trying to keep up with what's going on up there in the northern Gulf of Mexico. Wow. That is a storm of the century. Feel like something's wrong here. Does anybody else see a black screen? Josh, help me. We're going to go back to the starting screen for a second while Josh fixes that one up for us. Sorry about that. False start. Hopefully everybody's ready for a good night tonight, or a good show tonight. We got a bunch of cool stuff lined up for you guys, and definitely got some cool photos to show you guys, and got a lot to talk about. Weather looks really good the next 2 days, so definitely excited about that, and definitely excited about the great opportunity to get out there tomorrow behind this weather, and hopefully catch a bunch of fish. So hang on one second. We're going to try to restart that camera. I will be right back to y'all. So I'm going to put you back on mute, but don't worry, I'll be right back. Bear with us one more second, guys. We're almost through this technical difficulty. Sorry about that delay. Just bear with us one second. And Josh saved the day again. Just getting it dialed back in. Sorry for that delay, folks. Unfortunately, camera was working fine, and went to click go live, and all of a sudden camera wasn't working fine. So sorry about that. Josh is just getting it dialed back in here, and then we're going to go ahead and get the show started. So as Josh is working on that, I want to remind everybody, don't forget to comment where you're watching from. You need to comment one time on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream in order to be eligible to win. And then also don't forget to like the video on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. If you're watching on Instagram, don't forget to follow us on Instagram. It's super appreciated. And we're going to get rolling here in just a second. And like I said, we got some cool stuff to talk about. Weather is crazy. Historic weather we've been having. Definitely a little crazy with Hurricane Ida going from a Cat 3 to a Cat 5 real quick on overnight, basically. I think it was probably, in my opinion, one of the fastest drops in pressure that I've seen in a very, very long time. Definitely nuts for sure. So we're going to get started very shortly with that, and just waiting on everything to get dialed in here. Appreciate your guys' patience tonight as we get dialed in. Hey Josh, I'm going to go ahead and get started and go full screen while you're working on that second one. I think I can do that without messing Josh up. We'll see. Yeah, maybe not. I think I can. Nope, I can't. All right, maybe we have to hang on one second, guys. We're still figuring it out. Technology is not my strong suit. Luckily, we can fake it till we make it, and Josh can make it happen. Let's see. See if I can go live now. Full screen. Nope. And there I am. Josh figured it out. Thanks for bearing with us, guys. Sorry about that. Yep, reboot is not necessary. We've got cool tools, and it's honestly my fault, because last week I left something on that I shouldn't have left on, but hey, you live and you learn. And then you have Amazon. Terry Feather, Dustin, Gerard, appreciate those stars. I saw Paul Carteau earlier, and I think I missed a couple more sending over the stars. We got an echo, and I know how to fix that. I know a little bit about that. Echo should be done now. I hope. Yep. I killed the echo. No more echo, right? Echo. I think the echo should be done. Sorry about that. Part of scrambling to get the video going was the old echo, but we fixed it. So I wanted to get started off tonight showing you guys what we've been catching. As always, we kind of start the show off by seeing what's been going on inshore, nearshore, and offshore, and then we talk a little bit about the weather, what's coming up, and then we get into your questions. Christine Schrock, appreciate those stars, and I super appreciate your handmade blanket. That was super cool. My wife loves it. All right, so let's see if this works. It does work. Look at that. Look at me go. I'm just kidding. Josh did it. Let me move this out of the way a little bit. So inshore, we've been seeing a lot of these redfish. Definitely a great redfish bite right now. Been seeing quite a few redfish around the pass. during the day. They're hanging out on the bottom and mostly around on the live shrimp. Live shrimp has been a great option for the redfish. Whether you're on the flats, around the dock lines, the pass, at night we've been seeing a lot of redfish on the bottom around the bridge. Definitely a great time to scare you up some redfish. Local dock lines definitely producing a lot of redfish. We've been seeing a lot of them around the flats, mangrove shorelines, high tide. Those redfish get up on those mangrove shorelines foraging for crustacean, the white plastic, soft plastic paddle tail, still a killer option. Sherry Griffiths, Eric Doust, appreciate those stars, guys. A lot of redfish at night around the dock lights, bridge lights. Been seeing a lot of redfish around Johns Pass Bridge. The snook bite's been going well. Been seeing the snook on the beaches. Back in the passes too, snook have been loaded up. Definitely nighttime has been best. During the daytime, they get a little bit fewer and further between. But during the day, you can get lucky and catch them. You just got to catch them at the right tide. Still seeing some tarpon in the area, the mouth of Tampa Bay. Still holding some big tarpon. And around the back bays, we've been seeing some tarpon in those bays, the mouths of the bays. This one was somewhere in the Tampa Bay area at the mouth of the bay. He was up in the bay catching redfish and snook on the flats. Tide changed, bite died down. He went to the mouth of the bay kayaking home and saw a lot of birds and a lot of bait. Threw a cast, missed a big fish, big boil behind his bait. Then he realized it was a tarpon. That tarpon swung around and hit his soft plastic. Definitely cool. This is our buddy Eric from Salt Strong Fishing Club. Angelo, appreciate those 1,200 stars. Thank you very much, buddy. But great story on that tarpon for sure. Eric always has a great fishing story to share with us. And trout, we've been seeing some of those trout too. The surface, top dog, lure, top pup in the early morning, low light conditions through the day. Great surface plug for trout action and even snook and redfish. If you've never fished with a top water lure on the flats, you are missing out. Nothing is more exciting. Not as many fish hooked up, but when you're fishing a top water, even if you miss the fish, it's still a lot of fun because of that big blow up. So this next thing, I must preface it by saying this is a terrible graphic that yours truly made in paint very early in the morning. This is a poor representation, of Johns Pass. Let's see if I can blow this up without distorting it. It won't let me scroll down. Well, you get the picture. So you're in the... actually, I know what I can do. Pull myself. Nope. Wrong button. There we go. So you're in the boat, which is this little orange thing. And this is Johns Pass Bridge right here. This beautiful little black line. And then these are the docks of Johns Pass. And you've got an outbound tide going out of the pass. So your boat's drifting out of the pass with the tide. You don't want to cast down tide and work your lure back. So casting with the tide would be a bad cast, not presenting your bait naturally. Because when you cast down tide and retrieve that lure back to you against the tide, not gonna work. You gotta retrieve that lure with the tide. So let's actually, I'm gonna try something so I can explain this a little better. See if this works. It's going to get real fancy in here. Nope. Oh, wait. That will work. Bear with me, guys. We're figuring it out as we go. Oh, that works. All right. Back to the pip. All right. So if you got an outbound tide, tide's going this way. You don't want to cast with the tide. This would all be a bad cast because then your lure is working up current against the tide. You don't want that to happen. You want to make sure that you're casting with the tide, because if you're going to cast, you want to make sure you're casting against the tide. So that way, as you retrieve the lure back to you, it's going to be going with the current. And that's the same thing as if you were going to fish an island or fish a pass or fish anything, whether it's a grass flat or a, let's just pretend like it's a grass flat. This is fun. We should do paint more often. We should draw stuff every show. My drawing skills are superb. So there's the grass flat. There's our boat. Let's do a kayak. I'm having fun, guys. Hopefully you are too. So this is your grass flat, and let's say the current is pushing this way. So you're setting up on the grass flat. Your boat is going to be drifting this way with the current, obviously. So if you were to cast to the grass flat before you get there, and you're casting up here, oh, we need a thicker pen. You're casting with the current. Then when you go to retrieve that cast back to the boat, you're going to be working against the current. And when you're working against the current, a bait wouldn't be able to do that. Like, for example, if you're using a shrimp is a very slow-moving natural creature, so a shrimp isn't going to be strong enough to swim against the current naturally. So if you're using a soft plastic, an artificial shrimp, even something bigger to mimic a threadfin or a sardine, it's not going to be strong enough to swim against the current. So you want to make sure you're thinking like a fish and presenting your artificial bait with the current, with the tide, because that's how the baits are going to naturally appear in the environment. Robert O'Brien, appreciate your stars, buddy. So you got to think like a fish, make sure you're presenting your bait with the current, and then also look where those fish are going to be hiding. So for example, let's bring you back to our awesome drawing, and we're going to do a new page. I don't even know how to do that. Oh, we're just going to hit undo a bunch. So let's see, you're fishing a shoreline. It's got a little point on it, and that looks like a nose, but that's supposed to be a shoreline. And let's say this is your boat, and you're fishing this shoreline. Current is, let's say, going this way. Oops, gotta finish the arrow. So this is your current going with the shoreline. This is your boat. If you're going to be casting, where do you think the fish would be hiding along this shoreline? Especially this time of year, the fish are going to be hiding right here, hanging out, waiting for bait to come down this shoreline, and then they're going to be able to hit that bait, making their lives really easy because they are being lazy and they're hiding out in the lee, the little eddy from the current, because as the current comes down this seawall or down this grass flat or down this mangrove shoreline, as currents come down, let's change the color so you can see, as currents come down, it's going to eddy right here. And this little eddy is going to create a little space of no current, where the current's not running as much, the water's not moving. So those big snook, redfish, trout, whatever game fish you're targeting is able to sit there without having to fight the current or the wind or anything else. They're able to just sit here and chill. And then as the baits come down this seawall or mangrove shoreline or grass flats, they're able to pop out and ambush that bait with very little effort. And that's where the fish are going to be hiding. That's what I mean by thinking like a fish, taking into account where the current's going, how the bait's moving, where's the easiest place for that fish to chill, that big predatory monster breeder snook to chill and not expend a lot of energy and be able to feed on passing baits with little to no effort. that's where they're going to be chilling. Just like if you got a grass flat and that flat's sitting here and you got a little cut in the grass flat or a little pothole or a little eddy or drop off, the fish are going to be staged up in that, waiting for bait to get drawn down this grass flat with the current. And then as that bait moves across that ambush zone, that's where the snook or the trout or the redfish is going to be chilling, right in that pothole. So you got to make sure you're thinking like a fish when you're fishing inshore, fishing the flats, fishing that seawall, fishing that mangrove shoreline, especially this time of year when the water's hot, the air is hot. Fish are just like me and you, and they are going to be making sure they're expending as little effort as possible or as little energy as possible and staying cool. So shaded shorelines, that little tree that overhangs the seawall next to the dock, that's going to be where the fish are chilling, waiting for baits to pass by. So if you find a dock that's adjacent to a sand or adjacent to a grass flat or a bridge or any structure or area that's going to hold bait and the current's rushing down that seawall, that's going to be a great ambush zone for those fish to chill. One of my favorite fishing spots that I've ever had as a kid was kind of set up like that. Basically, let's draw it very poorly for you. There is one side of this canal. Here is a bridge. Oh, we got to change the screen so you can see. So here is a bridge. Change the color so you can see. Here's a bridge, and then the other side of the canal is like this. And then there was a big old grass flat hanging out right in this area. And what would happen is, on a really, really strong outbound tide, it would push water across this flat, and it would make it to where all this grass flat was getting pelted by the current coming down the intercoastal, and it would push water across this flat like this. And there was a big dock line right here, and that dock would always be holding tons of big snook this time of year. Big snook, redfish, trout, and they had a light on the dock too, until the homeowners got really tired of me hanging out there every night. And I would catch tons of fish off that dock because it was adjacent to a deep water canal. It had a big flat that was just 20 feet away from the end of the dock. And on a hard outbound tide, all that water would rush over that grass flat, pull all the shrimp, crustaceans, pinfish off the flat and push it at this dock. And the fish would just sit under there and wait for the bait to come to them. So that's what I mean by thinking like a fish in a very poorly illustrated way. So wanted to make sure we shared that with you guys, because I talk about that a lot, thinking like a fish, but I never get a chance to really illustrate it. I'm trying to figure out how to hook up my iPad. I got this cool Apple Pencil. Me and my son use it to play around a lot, but it would be really cool to be able to draw illustrations a little easier instead of using paint. But we're figuring that out. More tools in our toolbox to play with. And yes, I do like to draw, Miss Rizzo. Thank you. Not good at it, but I like to draw. Tim Dykes, D. Beers, appreciate your stars. Robert O'Brien as well. Thank you guys very much. Let's get into what we've been catching near shore. Show you what we've been seeing near shore. This is a nice Gag Grouper from a recent 12-hour night snapper. Definitely been catching a few nice gags there occasionally. Been catching a few hogfish on our 5-hour half days, 10-hour all days. Man, that photo came in small. It was a nice hogfish from one of our day trips there. We've been seeing some mahi, 5-hour half days, 10-hour all days. The 39-hour actually caught a pretty decent size mahi recently too. So definitely getting the mahi to show up. So it's a good time of year to have that pitch rod ready. Been seeing a lot of red grouper on the hub, 5-hour and 6-hour and 8-hour private fishing charters, fishing near shore on the hub. And we've been seeing a few, excuse me, a few keeper red grouper on our 5-hour half days. This was a keeper red grouper from a 5-hour half day. Fishing deeper lately on the 5-hour half days to get out there past the area where we had some red tide action, and definitely been successful at catching some keeper red grouper, a couple nice hogfish even on our 5-hour half day. But don't go out there targeting them. You want to focus on the gray snapper or white grunts, porgies. And I'm going to pause for a second and say thank you, Mike Upham, for the kind words on Facebook there. My son Jack is very good at illustrations. He learned from his dad. So, there. Here's Captain Garrett with a monster mangrove snapper from our 39-hour trips. We've been doing really well on some big mangrove snapper. The yellowtail snapper bite has been really good, too. And a few of these big scamp grouper, monster scamp grouper here from the 39-hour fishing trip. One of my favorite eating fish for sure. And what a great photo of that scamp grouper. Wow. See if we can crop out Richie's face there. No, I'm just kidding. Definitely a beautiful scamp grouper caught by Captain Rich Golis, fishing on his day off, and it tasted even better. He brought me a thing of his homemade ceviche today with a nice piece of that scamp grouper mixed in there. It was incredibly good. So enjoyed that scamp grouper. Thank you, Captain Rich. So we've been seeing big scamp, nice red grouper, a few nice gags on our long-range trips, big mangrove snapper, lots of yellowtail snapper, some good-sized vermilions, porgies, been seeing the mahi showing up, the occasional wahoo, nearshore red grouper, occasional hogfish, occasional mangroves, lots of lanes, lots of the gray snapper or white grunts, porgies, and with that, let's talk to you guys a little bit about the weather. We've been doing pretty darn good weather-wise prior to this storm, and guess what? It is back. The weather is definitely beautiful the next 2 days. The next 2 days, the weather is looking really good. But before we get into the weather, we want to... My face is too far away. Well, let me type in my code there, bud. Been having technical difficulties today. Like I said, I think it's mostly due to the weather. I've got like 43,000 tabs open here on my iPad because I've been watching Mike's weather page non-stop today with Hurricane Ida coming in. Definitely been entertaining, to say the least. Let's, first of all, before we get into the weather, give away our first free trip of the night. We're switching up the patterns. We're going to give away our 10-hour all-day first. 10-hour all-day for 2 guests. And the lucky winner goes to 10-hour all-day for 2 guests, Hunter Walker from Benton, Arkansas. Hunter Walker from Benton, Arkansas. Last week, it was almost all women who won the free trips. This week, we're starting out with a guy. So, who knows, gentlemen, tonight might be your night. Hunter Walker, if you're that lucky winner of the free 10-hour all-day trip for 2 guests, that is a $218 value. You can claim it by texting us at that phone number right there. Same phone number you would text. If you have questions you want answered live during the show, gotta text us at that phone number, bottom right-hand corner there, 727-393-1947. That's how you also claim the free trips, Hunter. You gotta text that phone number, your full home address, within about 5 minutes to claim that you were watching that show live. Because not only do you have to comment 1 time in order to be eligible to win, but then you have to watch the show, and if you're picked as the lucky winner, you got to text us within about 5 minutes to prove you're watching live. And we're switching it up, and switching up the order to make it more difficult, because I heard there was some shenanigans afoot. So... Oh, guys, it's always different. It's a random name generator. One episode, it was all locals, so don't say it's never locals, because it is. I've seen it. It's happened. All right, let's get into the weather. Right on our website, if you go to hubbardsmarina.com, click fishing trips under the fishing trips page or tab, excuse me. You can scroll down to where you see the weather links, and it won't let me because I'm too zoomed in. But basically, you go to the weather links page, it'll bring you here. We're going to check out the wind finder forecast for our 5 and 10 hour area. And I want to reiterate again how awesome the weather is going to be for tomorrow, Monday, August 30th. If you are looking for something to do, tomorrow is your day to go fishing, because look at this, guys. They're calling 3 foot, but it's a 9-second period. So they're calling 3 foot, but a 9-second period. So that is crazy. This is tonight. This is tomorrow. So 3 foot, 9-second period at 11 a.m. That is crazy. So what that means to you is a 3 foot sea under normal conditions, that's a little bumpy. But with a 9-second period, that means the period between the waves, the time between wave peaks, is 9 seconds, 3 times longer than the height of the wave. And that is incredible. You don't see that often. It's called what's called a ground swell. So a ground swell happens like right now, like tomorrow, because of Ida. Ida passed 300, 400 miles away, caused a very, very big swell, but it's so far away. As those swells make their way to John's Pass from that storm, they get further and further apart, and they get smaller and smaller over time. Just like if you go to your pool and you drop a big old rock in the middle of the pool, right around the rock, there's going to be big waves created, and they're going to be really close together. But by the time that wave makes it to the deep end, they're going to be small little ripples, and they're going to be super far apart. Science. You want me to draw you a picture? Because I can. But basically, it's called a ground swell, and that's really unique. We don't see that often, and it's super, super kind of eerie. So tomorrow will be cool just to get out there and watch that ground swell behind what will go down in history as a definite history-breaking storm. So very, very cool opportunity to get out on the water tomorrow. And plus, Captain Frank's driving the boat, and there's only a few people coming. I think right now there's 13 people scheduled. William Burchart, I do need a whiteboard. Captain Brian really wants me to get an easel in here. I'm like, an easel, bro? We have this nice studio, these fancy walls. You want me to bring an easel in here? Crazy. So definitely an easel might be easier, but we've got an iPad. We've got cool tools. I want to be able to draw on my iPad and have it come up on the screen. So hopefully, Josh, you're listening and you can make that happen. But definitely excited about the weather, not only tomorrow, but also Tuesday as well. We're seeing a really nice forecast for Tuesday. Tuesday's weather. Yep, this is Tuesday. So Tuesday is less than a 2 foot. It's calling 1.6 foot with a 7-second period. Tuesday. So tomorrow's about 3 foot 9 seconds. Tuesday is 1.6 foot with a 7-second period, which is just ridiculous. So incredible opportunity to experience a once-in-a-lifetime groundswell from a historic storm, and should be pretty darn good fishing. This storm moving through the Gulf got down to 930 millibars. That is an extremely low pressure. So that most likely will really excite the fish into grouping up on those structures. So definitely a good opportunity to get out there. I know I've said in the past, and I'll say it again, directly behind a really big storm, the water gets really churned up. The fishing can sometimes be slow. So the fishing will be slow right behind a storm when the water gets really churned up near shore. Inside 100 foot, directly behind a storm that churns up the water, the fishing can be slow inside 100 foot. This storm didn't churn up the water. We never really got crazy seas inshore for an extended period of time. It got a little rough, yes, but it wasn't super crazy, and it didn't last very long. So the water didn't get stirred up. It's still beautiful. It's not murky. We didn't get a ton of rain. So the fishing should be pretty darn good tomorrow and Tuesday. So if you are on the fence about going fishing, I don't care if it's with us, with your buddies, on your own boat, you should get out there on the water today or tomorrow or Tuesday especially and take advantage of the crazy good weather window on the backside of the storm. Because this morning, for example, I was at the 7-Eleven in Madeira Beach. Right behind the 7-Eleven in Madeira Beach are the commercial boat docks. Every commercial boat in the entire fleet was at the dock this morning because they were all in from the Gulf of Mexico, making sure that Ida didn't take a right turn or do anything crazy and didn't blow them out of the water. But they were all icing down. It was crazy how many boats and crew members were out there getting ready to head offshore. They're probably either heading out tonight or tomorrow morning early, and all those commercial boats will race each other. They don't go very fast, but they'll all race each other to those fishing spots in those bigger ledges, bigger structures, because those fish are going to be loaded up. So our 39-hour trip went out today, and we're excited to see how they did come Tuesday morning, because I know those fish, the lateral line down the side of the fish is basically a barometer, and they sense that low pressure, and Ida came right up the middle grounds, directly west of the middle grounds, as a very low storm, and then it continued to drop pressure. And so those fish all got stacked up on those big peaks, ledges, springs, wrecks, and I guarantee they're hungry. So excited. Let's see. We talked about the weather. We showed you what we're catching. What else am I missing here? We had some other stuff. Oh, online store. Super exciting. We're going to show you again. We talked about it a little bit here and there, but the team in the office, led by Amanda and all the great ladies behind the counter, have been working incredibly hard. And Josh and I helped too. I took a lot of the photos. Josh edited a lot of my terrible photos. But we have an incredible, actually the easiest way to showcase, I got to zoom out a little bit so I can type. Easiest way to showcase it is just to type in the price range 0 to $1 billion. And it's going to show you all our products. Notice that, I don't know if you guys can see that, but that says 14 pages, 393 individualized UPCs on our online store, and it's only gonna get better. There's only more products. We're eventually gonna have our entire store, our entire tackle shop apparel store right here. Look at that. Trolling lures, hooks, swivels, t-shirts, mirror lures, sabiki rigs, Power Pro, vertical jigs, trolling skirts, epic squid chains. It's really cool. I'm super excited as we continue to build out our online store. And we're working on categorizing everything, so it should be pretty well categorized. This has kind of been my pet project, is categorizing stuff. And there's going to be a lot of stuff without photos because they've been working really hard the last 2 days, and I haven't been keeping up on my photos. So there's still a lot of stuff without photos on the online store, but hopefully over the next couple days I'll be able to catch up to where the ladies have been working so hard, and I'll be able to make sure that we fill in all the great photos of all the products. But look at all the vertical jigs we've got on here now. It's crazy. Oh, we sold out of SK jigs. Got those on the store day before yesterday, and they sold out today. That's how quickly products went from the online store. So I'm super excited as we continue to build out the technological 21st century side of Hubbard's Marina. So check out the online store, of course, after the show. And bear with us as we continue to fill it up with photos. If you see a product on there without a photo, check back tomorrow. We should have it back up on there. It's a work in progress, but definitely really cool. So I wanted to mention the online store, wanted to mention the crazy good weather the next 2 days and how if you're not going fishing, you should. Let's see what else we got. September 21st, we've got our Real Animals fishing conversation coming up at Furman, Newport Richey. So if you were thinking about joining us for a fishing event, that would be a good one. They're going to have free barbecue. That is from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. September 21st at Furman, Newport Richey. And if you don't know, we're now an official radio co-host of the Saturday morning Real Animals radio show. So hopefully you see some value in those live shows. We do Saturday mornings now. We live stream the radio show. Bought some cool new toys today to improve that live stream even more. So excited about that. So tune in to our Real Animals radio show every Saturday morning from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. You can watch or listen to that live on News Radio 970 WFLA, or you could just simply tune in right here on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook, Instagram, or Hubbard's Marina Facebook page. That's not live streamed to YouTube yet, but we're getting there. So let's get into some questions real quick. Please talk a little bit about the upcoming special 10-hour trips on the Hub. What to expect, what gear to bring. It's a great question, Charles. We'll definitely get into that. But first, let's give away another free trip. We're going to give away another free trip here real quickly. Let's see, pick another winner. All right, let's give away another free trip. We're going to give away, let's see what we give away here. We're going to pull it up. We're going to randomly choose because that can be about pick another. There we go. Gotta keep me on my toes. This technology is. We're gonna give away a 39-hour fishing trip for one guest, Willie Munoz from Lakeland, Florida. There is a local in the form of Willie Munoz. Munoz. I'm going to go with Munoz. That is a 39-hour fishing trip for one guest, Willie. So make sure you claim that free trip very quickly to prove you are watching live. We still got more cool, fun, free trips to give away, so stay tuned. But we got to switch up the order because I heard people were tuning in, commenting once, and then popping out and not paying attention. So trying to keep you on your toes. But to answer Charles' question, we do have some special 10-hour all-days coming up here at Hubbard's Marina. And those 10-hour all-day trips are going to occur on the Hub, our private fishing charter boat, the Hub, and instead of on the party boat. And the reason why is just after Labor Day, around September, I think it's September 9th, the Friendly is getting pulled out of the water and will be out of service until October 21st, I believe, is the first trip back. So in that period, from around early to mid-September to around mid to late October, all our 10-hour all-days are not on the party boat. They're still going out Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, but they are not on the party boat. They're going to be on our smaller private charter boat, which means no air-conditioned cabin, no galley. Still has a bathroom, but it's a boat bathroom. It's not a party boat bathroom. There's not a men and women's head. You got to kind of climb down some stairs, go down in the V-berth. There's a head down there, but it's a boat bathroom. No air-conditioned cabin, so that means it's going to be hot. You got to be prepared. Not last year, year before, we had some people go out there that probably shouldn't have been on the Hub. They were drinking the night before. They went out there, got heat stroke, ruined the trip for everybody because they weren't prepared. They didn't take it seriously. They didn't drink enough water, and they weren't hydrated. Ended up getting sick, and we had to come in early. So definitely want to make sure you're hydrated. Got to stay hydrated. And you got to bring your own food because there is no galley. We do have a meal package option. If you want to do the meal package, that's still an option. But we send you out there with cold sandwiches, deli-style sandwiches. They're not hot cooked-to-order sandwiches on the hub. There's no galley, no grill. But we do have pre-made deli sandwiches available if you'd like to do a meal package. And then also, the boat does not have an alcohol license. So on the hub, you can bring your own beer. So on the hub, no galley, no air-conditioned cabin, but you can bring your own beer responsibly. If you bring a 24-pack for one person, no. But you can bring a couple beers, you can bring your own food and drink, but pack light. Boat is a smaller private charter boat. Typically, we take families who all know each other and they can all hang out, and it doesn't much matter. Whereas on this boat, with a bunch of people, everybody brings 30 rods in a big cooler, you will have no room on the boat. Bring a backpack with your tackle broken down in there. Pack like you're going on an extreme trip on the Flying Hub 2. Super, super light load. One rod, maybe two, no more than two. Small bag, super small bag, and a very small cooler. Or better yet, no cooler. Just bring your food in a plastic bag with a couple of drinks in another plastic bag and throw it in someone else's cooler or in the boat's cooler. That way we're condensed and we're not wasting a lot of room on deck. We don't have extra stuff in our way. So pack light, pack small, and it's a great trip. The Hub's an awesome boat. And this is an opportunity to get a private fishing charter at the cost of a party boat trip. It's basically a split charter, just like our 12-hour extreme trip is. It's a really good opportunity for you to get out there on the water and take advantage of a great deal. But it's one of those things that only happens every now and again, so you got to take advantage of it when it happens, or you'll miss out. So don't miss out. Book early because those trips fill up super fast, and you don't want to miss out on the opportunity to fish on the Hub at the rate of a public party boat trip. So definitely a great option if you want to join us for that. As far as what gear to bring, you want to gear up just like you're going on a 10-hour trip. It's fishing the similar areas, similar depths for similar fish. There's just less people on the boat. Instead of 20, 30, 40 leads hitting the bottom, there's 14. And you have definitely a smaller boat that's able to target smaller spots. It's a little faster, so it gets you out there a little quicker. You get a little bit more fishing time, or we get out a little bit further. So either way you slice it, great opportunity. Any reports from today's 12-hour extreme? Well, today we had about almost 5-foot seas this morning at Egmont Key. We canceled our 5-hour half-day trip. So our 12-hour extreme trip didn't head out there. It was about 9 foot in the area they were fishing this morning. So no 12-hour extreme report for today, but hopefully we'll be able to get out there later on this week as the water continues to calm down. Dusty Rhodes, appreciate those stars, man. You're the man. Appreciate it, Dusty. Can I bring my own live bait on the Hub's 10-hour trip? I like catching my bait before I leave. Yes, you're more than welcome to bring your own live bait on the Hub 10-hour all-day trips, but it is a community live well on the Hub. There is literally one well, one opening to it. So if you bring your own personal pinfish, just know an option. People may or may not grab your pinfish. We say we have 10 dozen on order. We'll put 10 dozen in the live wells. If you ordered a dozen baits, you can take up to a dozen baits out of that live well. But there's one live well. Everybody shares. It's on the honor system. You bought a dozen, you take a dozen out. If you bring 2 dozen of your own, that's fine. But there's no guarantee that you're going to make sure you only get your 2 dozen out, because they're not marked. They're free floating together in one tank. So just keep that in mind if you bring your own specialty baits. Can you pull up historical data on Windfinder? Yes, you can pull up historical weather data, but it is not through Windfinder. It's through the weather buoys, and it's a little technical. But yes, we save all the historical data from all of our trips. So you can get with me, and I'd be happy to show you what the weather buoy was doing. And we do that specifically because we've had people in the past. I had one lady who, well, let's just round it up quickly. Someone had stubbed their toe and was threatening a lawsuit claiming that we went out in conditions that were unsafe. So we got in the habit of saving weather forecasts every day for that reason. And I have all the historical links saved for that reason too. So that way, up to 12 years ago, I can look back and see what the forecast was and what the weather actually did. And most of the time, if we go out there in a little bit of a rougher condition, most of the time, it's either an advanced angler's trip or it's a trip where the forecast said it was going to be one way and then it ended up being a little bit worse. But never, ever have we put anybody's lives in danger, especially on the day trips where we're extra careful. Very conservative when it comes to that. But yes, we can look up historical weather data from past trips. If you want to shoot us another message, we'll be happy to look that up for you. Are you able to get pinfish now, or is the red tide still causing problems? So, red tide is something we can talk about right now. I wanted to talk more about the weather, but I made a promise to someone that we would try to avoid weather because I get carried away. I like weather. It's fun. It's part of being an offshore fisherman is following the weather, knowing about the weather, and I like it. It's interesting. It's science. I could draw you another photo if you'd like. Here is the red tide forecast for the next couple days. You'll notice there's no color, which is great. The forecast is beautiful because there's no red tide in the area, which I think is a little bit misleading because today, for example, we definitely had a little bit of a twinge going on at the dock there. You can't smell red tide, but you can kind of feel it. You get a little bit of a scratch in the back of your throat. Your eyes might burn a little bit, especially when it's rough. Like today, it was windy, the seas were going, and when the seas get going, you get that foam going in the air. It aerates that red tide particle, and you can actually kind of feel it even more. It's even more pronounced. Like, for example, when the red tide's really concentrated and it's super calm, you won't even know it's really there. But then when a boat goes by or one of the big boats backs in and it stirs up the water, you're like, because all of a sudden it gets stirred up and gets aerated and you really feel it in the back of your throat. It makes you cough, all that good stuff. So generally, you can't really notice it too much unless it's super concentrated. There's a bunch of dead fish around, then it's obvious, or it's super concentrated and makes the water appear red. Then it's kind of obvious. But right now, water is clear, beautiful. There's not really a fish kill going on. And we're able to get those live pinfish again. So definitely an exciting thing that we're able to get pinfish once again. So yes, we can get live bait. We've been getting live bait pretty consistently. The tricky part about live bait right now is just finding them. The red tide is not bothering them, so we're able to keep them alive, but very tricky to find them and then bring them back to the dock and use them on our trips because it just kind of decimated the population of pinfish, unfortunately. Let's see. Are bonita strips good bait for the 10-hour all day? I would use bonita strips for bait on our deeper water trips. So deeper water trips like 39-hour trips, 12-hour extreme trip, 44-hour trip, that is a good option for bonita strips because it's a very oily, smelly bait, gets the smell going in the water, and generally works very well. Now, would it work? Would a bonita strip work for bait on a 10-hour trip? I think it would be a great option on a 10-hour trip for keeper red grouper and maybe even a nice big mangrove trip. But it wouldn't be my go-to. I'd use some squid strip or a live pinfish first to target the grouper, and then a cut thread fin for the mangrove snapper on a 10-hour trip. I would save the bonita strips for a deep water adventure on a 39-hour trip. And next question is about the fishing Thursday. Thursday, not looking as good. Basically, all right, you asked the question, so you're going to open yourselves up. We're going to talk about weather for a quick another second. Basically, what we're seeing weather-wise is, again, Monday, Tuesday, weather looks really, really, really good as Ida moves into the nation. But then what happens later in the week, this is Wednesday. So as you can see, this right here, this little nodule dealy is Ida. So as Ida goes into the nation, it's going to kind of go like it's going to Michigan, and then it's going to hook right and get sucked up by this low pressure, this occluded front, and then it's going to move off to the east, off kind of like New England, North Carolina area, and go out over the Atlantic. And as it goes out over the Atlantic, the tail end of this front is going to extend down into our area. So I could keep talking about it, but long story short, Ida's going to move off over our north and over to our northeast, and as it does that, the tail end of that low pressure is going to extend down into our area, and is forecasted to make Wednesday midday to Wednesday afternoon and into Tuesday a little bit more rough, and the chance of rain goes up and chance of wind goes up. So definitely, if you want to go fishing this week, Monday, Tuesday, best days to go. Wednesday, Thursday, the fishing and the weather might be good. Still early, and a lot of that's based on Ida and what happens. But they're saying basically Ida's not going to break down super quickly, and if that's the case, it could cause Wednesday, Thursday to be a little bit more messed up. But time will tell. Talica 25. Talicas are great reels, but I'm holding out for that Saltiga LD60. Definitely going to be, in my opinion, a better option. I like Shimano, and the Talica is great, but Saltiga is a far superior product for a much lower cost in my mind. Plus, you also get, with the new series of Daiwa Saltigas, like this Daiwa LD50 that's sitting in front of me, they have the new executive maintenance program. So you get one of these fancy LD50s or LD60 Saltigas, they will actually give you 5 years of the executive service plan. So you can take this reel, purchase it, keep your receipt, and at any time, you can send the reel with the original proof of purchase, obviously a copy of it, to Daiwa. They break open the box with some white gloves, and they totally maintenance, service, and clean up on the reel. So it's killer. 5 years of just white glove service to your reel, maintenance, keeping it looking pretty, brand new. Anything broken or worn down, they replace. It's basically a way for Daiwa to continue to beta test their products, because over the course of that 5 years, if something's breaking down on your reel, they'll replace it for you. They'll take that part, and then they'll be able to improve their product. Plus, they give you a new reel back, basically, with improved parts and all cleaned up and well maintained. Not that it would break down, but if it does break down, you got 5 years of white glove service to that reel. It's incredible. So definitely, the Saltiga is going to be cheaper than a Talica, and you're going to get 5 years of no questions asked, 100% warranty, and not only that, they're going to clean and maintain your reel for you. It's pretty dope. Pretty awesome, for sure. How much is shark fishing? Shark fishing is pretty cool. We do offer a shark fishing trip. It's $150. We call it it's $160. We call it a trophy shark trip. We do it Friday nights around the moon phases. But it's one of those trips where it's kind of unique. You go out there, we anchor up, we chum, we set out 3-4 rods, and we sit there and wait. And if something bites, we'll go up, grab the rod, we'll set the hook on that shark, and we'll pass it off to the group that's assigned to that rod. Say, for example, we take up to 9 people. A lot of times there's 2, 3, 4 groups on the boat. So each group gets assigned a rod, or if there's only 2 groups, then each group gets assigned 2 rods, and if your group's rod goes off, captain and crew grab it, set the hook, and then pass it off to your group to wrestle with that fish or that shark or that Goliath. If you need help, you rotate it around your group. If your group needs help, you rotate it to the next group. And then once we land that fish, the group who hasn't had a chance to wrestle with a big fish will get assigned the next rod to go off. And then we kind of go through the whole boat till everybody has a chance to wrestle with a Goliath or a shark. And it's all a photo release trip. We don't catch, keep, or kill any of the sharks. And obviously Goliath groupers, you can't even touch them. Can't even bring them out of the water. So it's not one of those trips where you can keep meat to take home. So keep that in mind. Any tips on trolling? What about rigged ballyhoo? So trolling, all our trips are bottom fishing trips. We do not go out there to troll. So what I mean by that is when you're trolling on our trips, you need to make sure you have big tackle, because we're not going to slow down to let you land that little mackerel, kingfish, bonita that you catch. You got to bring some really, really big tackle so that way you can retrieve that fish while the boat's moving. And so you got to have at least a 50 wide 2-speed, 80 wide 2-speed, and you got to have something with a lot of drag power. And then as far as tips go, just ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions, and use the Rapala X-Wrap, the Magnum. So we'll show you on our online store right at hubbardsmarina.com. You can click store, Marina store, and then when you hit the Marina store, click tackle, click lures, click trolling, and the plugs are going to be your best producing bait. You've got the Nomad DTX minnows. If you're fishing our 39-hour trips, our 44-hour trips, the Nomad DTX minnows are going to be a great option. It's a really big trolling plug. It dives super deep, and definitely a great option for those deeper water trips. If you're not fishing as deep with us, if you're fishing like a half-day trip, the X-Wraps, even the 39-hour trips, the X-Wraps are a great option. The Magnum 30 is a good option if you're not fishing as deep. It goes down about 30 feet. There's also a Magnum 40. It's a little bit bigger of a Rapala X-Wrap. And then the Nomad DTXs, they dive even deeper. Really, really cool lures. Rapala X-Wrap makes the Magnum 30 and 40, and then Nomad DTX makes the DTX Minnow. We also have the Mad Max, which dive even deeper, made by Nomad. So check out the online store to see some of those trolling plugs. We also got trolling skirts on there. If you're doing one of our deep water trips, the trolling skirts, especially the squid chains, are my favorite trolling skirt. Definitely a great option. Let's see, I think we got time for one more question. Let's see if we can find a good one here. I've been thinking about getting a 2-speed reel and rod. There are some really expensive ones out there. What's a good choice for my first one? So that's a great question. A lot of people ask me, what kind of reel or rod should I buy, or what's the best rod and reel for me? And always, my first question is, what's your budget? That's the biggest determining and dictating factor when you're looking for new tackles. What's your budget? If you want to go all the way to the top and get the Shimano Talica or the Daiwa Saltiga reel, you're going to be coming out of pocket $600-700, $800 if you want a Talica. You're going to be coming out of pocket quite a bit on those higher end 2-speed reels. But for example, the next step down would be like the Daiwa Saltist, the Shimano Speedmaster, and then you have even another step down out of the 2 speeds where you could go like the Shimano Torium or the Daiwa Sea-Line, the Daiwa, I forget the other one. There's a couple Daiwa options that are a little bit cheaper. A Vet has 2-speed reels that are pretty affordable. Accurate makes great 2-speed reels. Just don't buy Penn reels. Oh wait, I can't say that anymore. Penn reels are okay products. I just don't like them personally. Being a partner of the Real Animals radio show, who is sponsored by Pure Fishing, who owns Penn reels, I promised Mike I wouldn't talk poorly about Penn products anymore. I just personally don't prefer them. If you watch the show enough, you know where I'm going with that. But if you don't, Penns are great, and they do have the best, lowest cost 2-speed reels, and the Penn Fathom 2-speed isn't a bad reel. Just me personally, I haven't had good experiences with the Penn products as of the last 5 years, 10 years, and their customer service leaves something to be desired at the wholesale level, but that's just my personal experience. You might like Penn. Me, I like Daiwa. My Daiwa rep and I were like this. Shimano, I'd like Shimano too. I would use a Shimano Talica, but I am very, very cheap. My wife would say frugal or wise. And except for when it comes to really cool technology to do live streams. Ask Josh about that. But when it comes to reels, I like getting reels for my tackle shop. And then, hey, that's a really nice reel. I might take one of these from my live show studio. Then it ends up on a rod and reel. But Talica, Shimano high-end products, they won't sell them to you unless you're a dedicated high-end Shimano dealer, and they only let a certain number of people do that in certain areas. And our buddies over at Dogfish are high-end Talica or high-end Shimano dealers, and we're too close for us to be allowed to sell high-end tackle from Shimano. So we're not classy enough at Hubbard's Marina to sell high-end Shimano. So we stick to our high-end Daiwa. It's a nice reel. Don't get me wrong. Talica's nice, but it is literally $150 more for a Talica compared to a Saltiga, and it's the same reel. In my opinion, the quality on a Daiwa is even a little better, and that's not because I don't have a Talica. I've fished them plenty of times. I really like Talica reels, but I just don't see myself paying over $100 more for a reel that's exactly like the Daiwa Saltiga product that has a better warranty, better service, and it's about the same, if not better, quality-wise. So, who knows? A lot of people are saying trips, please. If anything, that's going to make me keep talking. This is a show about fishing. I didn't start this show to give away over $700 in free stuff every week. I did this show to help people out and talk about fishing and have fun with you guys. If you're only here for free stuff, the exit button's right up top. Jeez. Come on, people. Let's talk fishing. But it is coming up to the end of the show anyways. Don't forget, if you are a supporter, don't miss out about the supporter show. The after show is a great time. Last week, we had 3 tracks from Captain Brian where he rapped about his life. It was crazy. And then also this week in the supporters after show, we have the world premiere of Estelle Big Money Wolfman, and her rap career is starting tonight in the supporters after show. So if you've wondered if Estelle has the moves, has the flows, tune in to the supporters after show, and we'll also be talking fishing. But the video is a can't miss ode to the rapping captain. So Captain Brian was rapping last week on the supporters after show. This week it's Estelle Wolfman. Next week, who knows? Could be you. So tune into the supporters after show. It's a lot of fun, and we talk about fishing, answer your questions, a little bit more one-on-one, a little bit more of a intimate, smaller group. So it's a great way to get a little bit more connected and stay a little bit more connected and see some behind the scenes stuff like Captain Brian rapping. Never would have thought that would have happened. I didn't think it was going to happen. I didn't think I'd trick him into doing it 3 times. But nonetheless, it happened. So hopefully we'll see you this week. Monday, Tuesday, best weather days. Wednesday, we could see a little weather bump, but it's still early. Don't cancel trips yet for Wednesday and Thursday. Super light loads. No one's around. Literally 13 people booked on tomorrow's 5-hour half day. We're going anyway. I don't care. Boat's leaving the dock. Hopefully you'll come down and join us, because if it leaves the dock with 13 people, Smokey and Frank are going to complain a lot, and I don't want to hear it. So help me out. Come join us tomorrow and help make sure my crew is happy. Because the crew's happy. It's like happy wife, happy life. The same thing applies to our very dramatic, yet very valued captains and crew. And if you haven't met him yet, we have a new Hubbard's Marina mascot. And I'm taking a lot of restraint not to get rid of Pedro the Pigeon. Pedro the Pigeon is our new Hubbard's Marina mascot. We definitely have seemingly adopted a pigeon that will literally wander into my office when I'm on the phone and hang out behind me and walk behind the counter. And he brought his girlfriend in yesterday. We have a pigeon problem. And it's thanks to Cindy Grego. She's watching. She just commented. Yeah, that's your problem, Cindy. And our other very loving, caring staff members who have been feeding this injured pigeon, who has made a full recovery and is now hanging out at Hubbard's Marina. He was injured by what I think was a hawk, because we saw a hawk take a baby pigeon off the dock today. It was pretty crazy. And we've had a lot of hawks around the area, and we have a lot of pigeons. So pigeons, hawks, something got injured. It's been rehabilitated. Now it's Hubbard's Marina's unofficial mascot. So there's that. We rescue a lot of birds, and now this one won't leave. Thank you. Thank you, staff, for being so caring and loving. Someone mentioned it in the comments. I didn't want to really talk about it because I don't know how his family feels about it, but definitely, since it was already mentioned in the comments, guys, definitely keep Will McClure, our first mate's family, in your thoughts and prayers. He lost his dad. He lost his father suddenly this past week in a very unexpected way, so not a good situation there. Not a good situation, to say the least. So just keep that in mind, guys. Keep Will in your prayers and his family in your prayers as he is dealing with the loss of his father. Very sad, to say the least. He was a great guy, super funny, great to be around, and very sad to see him go in such an abrupt, unexpected way. But definitely keep Will and his family in your thoughts and prayers because of that instance. Very sad. All right, let's see here. All right, we're having some problems with our... Look at that. Everybody wanted to see the trip giveaway, and now we're having problems trying to give away a trip. That's funny. All right, well, I'm trying. As we're getting this fixed up here, don't forget, guys, to join us for our Supporters After Show. Hopefully you guys will come join us tomorrow on our 5-hour half-day fishing trip, or Tuesday on our 5-hour half-day fishing trip. Going to be a great option for some killer fishing tomorrow on the 5-hour half-day, or Tuesday on the 5-hour half-day, or 10-hour all-day. And then Tuesday we've got a 39-hour fishing trip going out. Should be a great option there too. With that, let's see who won our... What are we giving away now? It's our 5-hour half-day trip for one guest. 5-hour half-day trip for one guest. Or 5-hour half-day for two guests. Sorry. 5-hour half-day for two guests. goes to Michael Soul from Riverview, Florida. Look at that. Someone was saying locals never win. The last two giveaways of the night were both local. So that is great when that comes to fruition for me. So we gave away our 10-hour all-day, our 39-hour trip, and now our 5-hour half-day. Hopefully we'll see you guys next week for another episode of the live stream fishing show right here on our Hubbard's Marina Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube channels. We're going to start our supporters after show probably around 9:52. I pulled that number up. Somewhere before 9:55, after 9:50. Hopefully we'll see everybody next week for another episode of the main show right here, 8:30 p.m. on our Hubbard's Marina Facebook, Instagram, YouTube channel. Hopefully you enjoyed the show and some of the banter. Next week we'll work on having a little bit better diagrams for you. Hopefully you enjoy our Saturday morning Real Animals radio show and our Friday mornings Fox 13 News Good Catch Fishing segments. We're on the news, we're on the radio, and we're Facebook Live and YouTube Live and Instagram Live every weekend. And if you haven't seen it yet, we got TikTok. We're on TikTok now. So we've got Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We don't have Twitter. Not doing Twitter. Sorry. But check us out. Follow us. Connect. Let's be friends. Become a supporter today. Thank you, everybody who sent stars tonight. Huge shout out to our supporters for making this all possible. Hopefully we'll see you soon for some fishing fun at Hubbard's Marina. Head on over to the supporters after show. If you're not a supporter already, you can become one today, right at the top of the Hubbard's Marina Facebook page. And we'll see you soon at Hubbard's Marina. Don't forget to say hi to Pedro the Pigeon if he survives the week.